It's 8 p.m. in Banjul from our studios on MDI Road. This is the news. First, the headlines. The Vice President reaffirms government's commitment to protect women's rights. Permanent secretaries convene retreat on good governance. Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe resigns after Parliament threatens to impeach him. And economists in Nigeria warn the country's heavy reliance on external loans could increase vulnerability of the economy. These and other stories coming ahead in this hour. I am Isa Jallo. The Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs has reaffirmed the government's commitment to protect and promote the rights of women and children. Madam Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang made the remarks during a consultative forum on Islam and well-being. Sisi Sawane was at the opening ceremony and filing this report.
Traditional practice that has captured the world's imagination, female genital mutilation rouses a debate of mixed estimations. On the one hand, the practice is seen as a deep-rooted culture, whilst others see a fulfillment of religious obligations. Well, whichever way one views it, female genital mutilation certainly impedes the well-being of women and the girl child. The mission to change that has inspired this 3-day consultation meeting on Islam and family well-being, organized by the Gambia government in partnership with UNICEF and UNFPA. The event is one of the biggest gatherings convened to discuss female genital mutilation, attracting religious scholars from the Gambia, Senegal, Chad, Tunisia, Morocco, Nigeria, Egypt, and Mauritania. Discussions focused on pertinent issues affecting women and girls and further ventured into ongoing efforts to clear misconceptions surrounding the current debate that have been developing in the Gambia for the past 3 decades. The Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, Ajah Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang, said the Gambia government is committed to the accomplishment of the SDGs.
The government of the Gambia on its part is committed to contribute towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goals 3, 4, and 5, on global good health, well-being, quality education, and gender equality, respectively. One strategy through which the contribution can be achieved is the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and girls, thereby ensuring the attainment of their sexual and reproductive health and empower girls to reach their full potentials before marriage. She
noted that social mobilization efforts will be intensified to create more awareness in protecting women and girls. UNFPA's Regional Director for West and Central Africa, Mambinge Gum, said the consultation meeting is a recognition and commitment to building a better Gambia for women and girls by harnessing its demographic dividend. Gum stressed his organization's commitment to reducing maternal mortality in the continent.
Here in Africa, a woman has 100 more chance to die when giving birth than a woman who lives in the north. And we must stop it. We should end it. We can do it. And you religious leaders can be a powerful instrument to make sure that no more women die here in Africa when giving birth. This is the sense of the partnership we want to build with you.
The presidents of the Supreme Islamic Councils of the Gambia and Chad all shared best practices undertaken to protect women and girls. Participants are expected to look into issues such as female genital mutilation, child marriage, and reproductive health, especially focusing deliberations on bed spacing and the Islamic perspective to tackle these challenges. It will also shape a platform for dialogue on the health and human rights aspect of female genital mutilation and address family planning towards the development of the Banjul Declaration. For GRTS News, I am Sisi Sawane.
The Gambia has strongly condemned the reported sale of African migrants as slaves in Libya. A news release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs denounced the practice as a violation of human rights and human dignity. The Gambia calls on Libya, the African Union, and the United Nations to undertake thorough investigations immediately in order to put an end to the gruesome atrocities. The media release says the Minister of Foreign Affairs has given instructions for the inclusion of the issue in the agenda of the upcoming African-EU summit in Cote d'Ivoire. A businessman, Amadou Samba, has reappeared before the Janek Commission to shed light on several issues, including the sale of Kairaba Beach Hotel and matters surrounding the ownership of Excel Construction. Suma Jadama reports.
Mr. Samba's reappearance was meant to clarify issues he is alleged to be involved with the former president, including a bank transfer of over $190,000 from the Dr. Yaya AJJ Jame Foundation account at Trust Bank Limited.
It was a telex transfer of the sum of $197,801. Do you have any explanation regarding your involvement in this transaction?
Yes, I do. I think during the course of my evidence, I alluded to the fact that sometimes the president will ask me to seek for quotation for certain things he wants abroad, either abroad or locally. And in this particular instance, he asked me that he would like 2 refrigerated trucks, and he asked me to seek for quotation for 2 refrigerated trucks. I think it was meant for his butchery. And of course, normally, Michel Nehme, I use Michel not only for this particular transaction, but I use him for a lot of things, because one, he is at the red code. That means that he will easily facilitate freight. And not only that, I mean, he normally sources things for me.
On the sale of Kairaba Beach Hotel, Mr. Samba refuted claims made by Mamadou Lamin Sonko, saying he has never discussed the matter with Mr. Sonko.
Is there any part of the evidence that is inaccurate, that you would like to contradict your witness of fact?
I said that he manufactured the evidence, which is a fact. He manufactured the evidence. After listening to me, he knows that he was not saying the truth, because I've produced documentary evidence which he cannot deny. He decided to come back with a different story. And his story this time is that I signed the document, and soon after that, something happened, and they said that it's Yaya Jammeh that should sign.
Contrary to what Marie Samba said, the tendered documents read by her client Amadou Samba did not in any way mention the name of Ami Bensouda as a counsel to Yaya Jammeh, nor was her name involved in the sale of Kairaba Beach Hotel, either as a counsel or one of the counsels.
Mr. Samba, I had set aside MS 104, but I'm advised I need to just clarify one point. Now, I believe the document was tendered. Well, it seems, not say I believe, the document was tendered because I prepared it. I'd just like you to explain why my preparation of the document, the sale agreement, why is it relevant?
No, I've already answered the question. I mean, the question of your preparation of the document, I mean, I said that I'm leading this in evidence in order to give the chronological history of Kairaba Hotel.
Oh, not because I prepared the document?
No, not at all.
I see. Just one last question. As a lawyer, is it not correct that the solicitor who prepares documents in land transactions is usually the solicitor for the purchaser?
Exactly.
Thank you. And in this case, the purchaser was Gambia Beach Hotel?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Suma Jadama, reporting for GRTS.
Permanent secretaries from various ministries, including the Office of the President and the First Lady, Tuesday commenced a retreat. It is a 3-day retreat on good governance. Tenang Jite was at the opening ceremony.
Permanent secretaries bestowed with the day-to-day running of the country have converged for a 3-day residential retreat on collaborative leadership and dialogue at a local hotel. The training was organized in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme. Lamin Mane, the UNDP Regional Director, representing the resident coordinator, spoke of the significance of the training in fine-tuning the country's national goals and those in charge of it.
For the promises and the expectations to be realized from this important transition, certain fundamental things have to happen. The first one is for there to be a continued focus on taking the country forward. One of the things that need to be done is for there to be continued focus on the part of the leadership of this country on the key objectives.
During the course of the retreat, participants would have the opportunity to discuss key issues related to good governance, structural and transformational administration, as well as share experiences and success stories from across the region. Speaking on behalf of the Secretary General, Pataja, the Permanent Secretary PMO stressed the importance of good leadership skills and collaboration within government structures, and added the Permanent Secretaries are proud to be the third beneficiary of the program after Cabinet Ministers and National Assembly members.
We may have slipped away, but we can get back there with dedication, commitment, and collaboration. The Gambia needs a professional and disciplined civil service, more now than ever.
For the next 3 days, Permanent Secretaries will leave the confines of their offices and homes, focus on this retreat, sharing relevant ideas to harness sustainable development programs. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Tenengite.
The National Assembly Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development has deferred the report of the management of the Livestock Agency following the absence of the Director General.
Gilma, in the consideration of the Select Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development, the session for Gilma cannot hold for the following reasons. The representatives of the agency to the committee did not include the Director General of the agency, whose absence was reported to be due to his redeployment to the Department of Veterinary Services. Number 2, according to parliamentary procedures, the session for the Select Committee cannot hold in the absence of the Director General of the agency. Number 3, in view of the above, the committee had decided to defer the session to the second phase of the committee's session, which is scheduled for January 2018. And finally, the committee has also resolved that Gilma must submit its audited accounts, audited financial statement for the year ended 2015-2016 before 31st December 2017.
Health officials, including a delegation from Humanity First, Tuesday visited the pediatric ward at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul. This follows the donation of 100 beds by the First Lady, Madam Fatoumata Barrow. Fatoumata Cham Jame has the rest of the story.
This is the pediatric surgical unit of the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. It houses children with a wide range of medical and surgical conditions. Now, in a bid to revamp the then dilapidated facility, the First Lady, Madam Fatoumata Barrow, donated 100 beds. This, according to the Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Dr. Ahmadulamin Samate, is part of our efforts to give a new facelift to the hospital.
This had been an area that needed quite a lot of help. As you are aware, I'm sure you know that the First Lady donated all these beautiful beds. They were all donated by the First Lady about a month ago. She donated 100 beds, and these are all those beautiful beds because she has the passion, she has the intention of changing the pediatric unit. The entire pediatric unit is going to be very beautiful very soon, and the entire hospital.
The First Lady's initiative is well appreciated by stakeholders in the health sector, thus prompting Humanity First, a long-standing partner to the health sector, to complement her efforts.
This is one aspect that you could see. Our teams have also been working in promoting oral health in distant villages and in schools. We've been doing checkups. We've been taking teeth out. We've been filling teeth. We've been creating oral health awareness where children can learn how to brush their teeth. At the same time, our second team has been doing oral and maxillofacial surgery procedures. So we've been doing tumors and fixing broken jaws, things which were not traditionally done in the past. And for these patients had to be sent over to other parts of the world to have them done.
The charity assisted in fixing the ward's plumbing problems, providing TV sets and video games for the children, renovating the toilets and giving a new facelift to the ward.
As you know, the hospital it's quite old and it needs a lot of support to get to renovate it. And having the new supplies of beds from the First Lady, there was a need also to facelift the wards, particularly the pediatric surgical wards. The wards were really not the best of wards. So the Humanity First came in to do the facelift by painting, decorating, fixing the lights, fixing the plumbing problems.
Humanity First also donated medical items and signed a memorandum of understanding with the hospital in 2013, part of which includes providing medical supplies, conducting refresher training for the nurses, and providing expert assistance. With the upgrading of the pediatric surgical unit, patients and staff are grateful to the First Lady and the charity for the benevolent support. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Fatoumata Cham Jammeh.
The Director General of the State Intelligence Service, Usman Sow, Tuesday briefed the media on the recent SIS countrywide tour to assess the security situation of the Gambia. Seni Marina reports.
As part of the reform and restructuring agenda of the former NIA, now SIS, officials are swiftly advancing efforts reshaping the country's intelligence sector. The priorities here include the building of public confidence geared towards repositioning and refocusing the once fair and highly notorious institution that will meaningfully support government's effort to promote peace and stability. The SIS say they envisage building an intelligence service that is fully conscious and proud of Gambia's democratic and constitutional foundations. Usman Sow is the new Director General of SIS. The intelligence chief dismissed fears that the country is not safe following the peaceful transfer of power from ex-President Jammeh to Adama Barrow.
The security of the country looks secure. It feels secure. The people look content. From our assessment, our going around has assured many people in this country about the security posture and the thinking of the security service. As I said, coming back to the SIS, this is part of our reach out, part of our repositioning, reshaping and reforming and restructuring this service. We still remain vigilant as a security service because we need to also know that there may be matters that we need to be vigilant about, and we are constantly vigilant about those ones, home and abroad. We have that responsibility, we have that mandate, and that's the expectation also about us as far as the public and our consumers are concerned.
The SIS chief said the objective of his recently concluded countrywide tour is to meet people at community levels to discuss, interact and set aside past fears about his institution. So promise an open and participatory approach mechanism to earn the confidence and full support of the Gambian public.
We want to encourage all of us and all Gambians to continue to be steadfast, to be committed, to be interested as well in national security affairs, and avoid any action, intention, engagements that will jeopardize the national security of this country.
The NIA boss also warned against subversive actions while calling for collaboration from citizens and sister security apparatus to ensure a safe and secure Gambia. However, he said there remains a security challenge, but his agency is fully committed to overcoming them through concerted efforts of the entire security sector and the economic contingent in Banjul.
that we must jointly address national security challenges of this country. And if we are to deliver on that direction, we need to cooperate, we need to consult, and we need to coordinate our activities. I must say this, the level of coordination that we've seen, the level of cooperation we've seen among the security services is very, very encouraging. Quite encouraging.
It will be recalled that President Adama Barrow has used his prerogative to rename the infamous and out-of-date National Intelligence Agency, NIA, to State Intelligence Service, SIS, and is seemingly delivering on his promise to reform and restructure the country's National Intelligence Service and the larger security service sector. It is a drive that aims to build a vibrant national security institution that functions in the best interest of the entire nation without prejudice. Seni Marena for GRTS News.
Presentation Girls Vocational School in Banjul has commended the MRC Holland Foundation for their support to the center. The philanthropists spent millions of dollars to give the school a new facelift. Louis Mendy reports.
To God be the glory for prayers answered, were the words of Sister Rosine Sanyang, the principal of Presentation Girls Vocational School, as she hailed the generosity of the MRC Holland Foundation. The philanthropists have just done some tremendous facelifting of our school, as well as built and furnished their computer lab with 20 computers.
When Mrs. Sonko came to see the school, her remark was, "How can we give you computers when you have a leaking roof?" Let us start from there. The foundation not only took care of computers, but other areas of interest to them.
Sister Rosine Sanyang said the MRC Holland Foundation support to her school makes 2017 a memorable year for them.
The classrooms are all painted and the verandas are all tiled. This is a reality today because of MRC Holland Foundation. We hail your generosity and your care for these young women of Presentation Girls Vocational School.
Emil Kujabi, the chairman of the board of directors of the center, said the development is a dream come true.
Our dear sponsors, this intervention of yours will go a long way in increasing the enrollment of the school in the first place, improve greatly the quality of teaching and learning.
The event was also graced by the Deputy Mayor of the Banjul City Council.
It is indeed gratifying to be associated with this history-making event in the pursuit of girls' empowerment through the provision of a conducive learning environment and tools for the Girls Vocational Training Center.
The dramas and songs by the students were meant to appreciate the good work of the philanthropists, who were equally grateful.
I feel it, and there are no much words to say. What can I say for their sweet and honest words?
Presentation Girls Vocational School, a home for self-reliance, particularly for the less privileged, was founded in 1972 by the Presentation of Mary's Sisters. It prepares girls on home management, hairdressing, and secretariat, something already put to the test by what you are seeing, including the cloth sewed for their teachers and philanthropists. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
And now to sports. The community of Sabi in the Upper River region Saturday witnessed the first ever football final at its newly built mini stadium. As Momodu S. Jallo reports, last Wednesday's grand finale was won by BS Energy following a 1-0 defeat over Baniko FC.
Marik Kamara's late second-half goal was enough to earn BS Energy the Sabi Championship trophy after beating Baniko Football Club 1-0. Saturday's grand final between the two sides was played in front of both home and traveling fans from surrounding villages. Both sides created plenty of chances in the opening minutes but failed to find the opener. And just moments into the second half, BS Energy had a glorious opportunity to take the lead, but Poti Kamara saw his penalty hit the post. BS Energy continued their dominance and were rewarded with a late goal.
Today I am very happy to win this game today. Yes, I will thank all the service people and my players and the community members and all the my supporters in Sabia and out.
this project have been done within a year, and then hopefully next tournament there will be big changes. Our target is the pitch to be grass or is either artificial or Bahamas.
And as the football season ends in Sabi, members of the sports committee are hopeful of completing work on the community's mini stadium. Momodes Diallo, GRTS Sports.
In the streets of Harare, after news that long-time President Robert Mugabe has resigned, CNN's David McKenzie reports.
David McKenzie in Harare, just after 37 years of rule, these are the scenes on the streets. Robert Mugabe out. Look at that.
Well, Brooke, what happened is the people are just celebrating on the streets. Come with me. In Parliament, they read a letter that Robert Mugabe, the leader of nearly 37 years, who's been under pressure from the military, who's been under pressure from the people and everyone else in this country, has finally let go. He let go willingly. And just look at the scenes over here. They're partying in the streets, Brooke. 3 decades of underpower of Robert Mugabe. He is the man that defines politics in this country. Now, after a week of tense times and military on the streets, Brooke, we're having the street party here in Zimbabwe. The ruler for all of this time that's ruled this country with an iron fist, he is gone. And these are the scenes in Harare, Brooke. Take a look.
David, I just wanted to sit on the picture for a second. We're still live. I mean, this is extraordinary. These people, can you tell me what are they singing, and where is Robert Mugabe's wife?
Robert Mugabe's wife is in detention, and people thought he would hold on forever because he's in detention too. There was going to be a lengthy proceeding of impeachment against him. He buckled under the pressure. And these are the scenes because people know Zimbabwe has been under the in a way of Robert Mugabe for all this time. In a military coup.
We apologize for the technical hitch due to the poor sound quality. Nigeria's government is being cautioned not to rely too heavily on external loans to finance its budget deficits. Economists are warning that borrowing from external sources could increase the vulnerability of the economy. CGTN's Kelechi Ekelam has more.
President Muhammadu Buhari's government says $2.5 billion will be spent on infrastructure development, including expanding Nigeria's railway network, building a second runway at the Abuja airport, and resuming work at Mambila Dam. It says these projects will create much-needed jobs, facilitate trade, and increase federal revenue. The remaining $3 billion is set to be spent on refinancing domestic debt for private sector borrowing. It's the third time Buhari's administration is borrowing heavily to finance budget deficits, and some are beginning to worry.
It's soon getting to a point where we are repaying debts with close to 50% of our revenue. As of today, it's about 30-something%. So that is not ideal. And the proposal is that we should stop, put a stop to it, rely more on ourselves, and then see how we can develop from there.
Nigeria's debt currently stands at $57.39 billion, 25% owed externally, while the remaining 75% is domestic debt. The price of its key revenue earner, crude oil, has remained persistently low. And President Buhari wants to diversify the economy, investing in previously overlooked sectors like agriculture and building infrastructure to attract foreign investments.
The resources that should have been used to grow the economy, to put more infrastructure, to do more in health and education, is now simply used to pay back debts. And some of these debts are spurious. We can't even see what these monies were invested in terms of how regenerative are these projects. What are they contributing to the economy to help us to pay back these debts? So that's the challenge.
Servicing debt is already taking up substantial part of the country's budget. President Buhari is planning to spend nearly a quarter of the proposed 2018 budget on servicing this rapidly growing burden. Economists are concerned that with debt punching a big hole in the budget, there will be little left to finance development projects. Kelechi Amekalam, CGT and Abuja, Nigeria.
And before we take leave of you, we take a recap of the main stories. The Vice President has renewed the government's commitment to protect women's rights. A permanent secretary's seminar on good governance is underway in Banjul. Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe has resigned following moves by Parliament to impeach him. An economist in Nigeria warned the country's heavy reliance on external loan could increase vulnerability of the economy. That was all in this edition of This News. Thanks for your pleasure. Thank you for watching and have a good night.